Hi, seventh grade. Today we're going to use PowerPoint just like we typically would to go over our lesson today. The only difference is this time you do not need to take any notes. I just want you to follow along with me. So today's date is April 1st, 2020. Our topic for today is bacteria. The essential question that you should be able to answer by the end of this lesson is, what are the characteristics of bacteria cells? You have a to-do list for me today. Number one is watch this video. You're already doing that. Number two, read pages 186 through 188 of your textbook. And then lastly, number three, after you've done one and two, answer your question of the day on Google Classroom. So let's go through our PowerPoint for today. Bacteria have some similarities and some differences with plant cells and animal cells. One way that bacteria cells are different is that they are prokaryotic cells. That word prokaryotic is a word that you have heard already this year. You know that prokaryotic cells do not have a nucleus. They do not have membrane-bound structures like you would typically find in an animal cell or a plant cell. So all the organelles that we've learned about so far over the past week or so have been in eukaryotic cells. That means that they do have a nucleus. So bacteria are a little bit different already because they are prokaryotic. Bacteria can be harmful or helpful just depending on the type of bacteria. You have helpful bacteria within your digestive system that we need in order to survive, but there can also be harmful bacteria that could cause you to get sick as well. Bacteria reproduce asexually. This is a process called fission. We've learned about asexual reproduction already. You know that means that you start off with one parent cell that splits to form two identical daughter cells. And lastly, bacteria can be aerobes or anaerobes. That depends on whether or not this bacteria cell needs oxygen. If it needs oxygen, it's an aerobe. If it does not need oxygen, it's an anaerobe. So bacteria can go either way. Now, let's look more closely at our bacteria cell. If you take a moment to look at this bacteria cell, you'll notice that there are some similarities to cells that we've already gone over, and then there are a few big differences too. So a couple similarities that you've probably noticed are the cell wall and the cell membrane. So just like plant cells, bacteria cells have a cell wall as a tough, rigid exterior coating that protects the cell. They also have a cell membrane. It's just one more layer in. It's softer. It's not as rigid as the cell wall. So those are some similarities to eukaryotic cells. We see that it has chromosomes, right? It has DNA, but it's not located within a nucleus. Your chromosomes are just free-floating within the bacteria cell. They don't have an organelle for that DNA to be located. One big difference I want to point out that you probably noticed as soon as you saw this picture was the flagellum. So the flagellum is this tail-like structure. It kind of functions like a foot or kind of like a tail. It can propel that bacteria cell wherever it needs to go. So it's a form of transportation. So that's it for this video today. Go ahead and read your pages in your textbook and answer your question of the day. Bye.